Okay.
This meeting is being recorded.
Thanks everyone for jumping on. I've got 4-month-old twins and one of them's a bit unsettled, so bear with me if I have to duck off at some stage, but hopefully she'll just start playing nicely and go to sleep for me. Anyway, welcome everybody. For those of you who I haven't met before, my name is Erin and I am a Thermomix consultant based in Druin. I'm just going to let people in as they come as well, sorry. Based in Druin in Victoria, but obviously now, you know, that we're working in the virtual world, kind of selling and supporting customers all over Australia, which is really cool. Sorry, just going to keep letting people in. So a little bit about myself. I owned the TM5, the model before the one we're seeing tonight, for about, I think, 4.5 years or so before I decided to upgrade. One day my husband said to me, I love my TM5, loved everything about it. And
in the face of invasion. This week, Chinese nationalists and communists fight each other. I'm Indy Nidell. This is World War II. Last week, Adolf Hitler met with Benito Mussolini and talked about possible military plans in North Africa, Mediterranean, Gibraltar. Far to the east, the Battle of
Yes, and so one day my husband said to me, did you want to upgrade? And I was like, nah, I don't need to. I love my TM5. And then I did a little bit of research into the TM6 and decided that I actually needed it. I needed all these little upgrades that came with it, and I decided to join the team to earn it. At the time, I was just planning on earning and leaving with my free machine, but I just really loved it. I loved sharing my love of the Thermomix and helping everybody with their new Thermomix as well. So here I am today. So for those of you who haven't seen the TM6 before, I think there's a couple of you here. Maybe pop in the chat box for me if you have a Thermomix, which model it is, or if you don't yet have one. So for those of you who don't yet have one, the TM6 is a smart connected cooking appliance. So it connects into your Wi-Fi and gives you guided cooking through Cookadoo, which is Thermomix's virtual recipe platform, on the screen of your Thermomix. So that gives you recipes up to like 80,000 recipes from all over the world on the screen of your Thermomix. So obviously, because this is just an open virtual tonight, I've picked our menu, but if anybody at any stage wants their own virtual, or if you're local to me in-home demo and you want to pick the menu yourself and really learn something that really interests you, or, you know, pick to see your likes, dislikes, allergies, all that kind of thing, please let me know. I'm more than happy to do that as well. So I'd love to know, pop it in the chat box, what's brought you on tonight? What are you hoping to get out of this? Are you here for a host reward? Are you here just to see the TM6 in action, learn something new? Pop it in the chat box and let me know. I'd also love to know what is important to you guys with the food you cook and eat at home. There's a couple of ideas here, but we think about things like healthy food, simple, fast, being creative in the kitchen maybe, saving money. I know that's really important to everybody at the moment as well. And maybe have a little bit of think about what are your challenges around meal times at the moment? What are your pain points and frustrations in the kitchen? Have a think about that and maybe pop it in the chat box and let me know. So the TM6 is an all-inclusive price of $2,359, includes everything you see here, and the Thermomix itself, the Varoma, which is our steaming attachment, our simmering basket, splash guard for our high heat mode, a hard copy of our basic cookbook, spatula, butterfly whisk, and measuring cup. So it's an all-inclusive price of $2,359 for all of that. There are a few different ways to get the TM6 in your kitchen, including we've got 36 months interest-free running at the moment. So we'll talk a bit more about that afterwards. Just having a look at the chat box, I think most of you have TM5 or TM6 and are keen to learn something new. So hopefully I can help you with that. As we're going, please just pop in the chat box if you've got any questions or anything in particular you want me to go over, just let me know. I like to keep these really relaxed, and I want you to get something out of it. So yeah, just sing out or pop in the chat box if you've got any questions. We're going to start cooking. So I'm going to spotlight over to my Thermomix. So obviously this is our home screen of our TM6, and we've got our perfect timing, our time, temperature, and speed settings on here. So if we're cooking in manual mode, or for those of you who have a TM5, you'll know these basic settings are on here. I'm going to go through the screen of it a bit more in some cooking time later. So I'm just going to start cooking first. So if we went up into the 3 little dots at the top left-hand corner there, and we go into my week, I've saved the recipes that we're going to cook. One of our features of Cookadoo is being able to meal plan out and save what you're going to cook to make it nice and easy for you. So you'll see the couple of things we're cooking tonight and then what else I've done today. We had some poached eggs for recce this morning, and we had the beef stroganoff for tea tonight. Both of them are great too, if you're wondering. We're going to start by making our cheese and bacon scones to start with. This is a relatively newish recipe on Cookadoo. Has anyone made this one yet? Pop in the chat box and let me know if you have. Or have you made any different savoury scones? So from here we can scroll down and have a look at the recipe if we want to. I always like to, so you've got all our ingredients on the side and the steps. I always like to go down to hints and tips to see if there's anything of interest that I'd like to do. So it's just telling us that they like to use a strong cheddar, but really you can use anything you like. And when you're cutting your scones, don't twist them with the cutter, otherwise they'll rise unevenly. And just press straight down, lift straight up. And then there's some variations as well. So you could do a rough cheese and bacon scone by not actually kind of pushing out the dough. You could just drop the spoonfuls of dough onto the baking tray. And you could make a vegetarian by just doing cheese and chive and leaving out the bacon. So if we scroll back up to the top, we're going to hit start cooking and get started. So I'll just pop my oven on to 220. So your Team 6 will walk you through all of these steps, even the ones that aren't exactly, the actual Thermomix cooking steps. So baking, line of baking tray, I've already done that. And into our Thermomix bowl, we're going to put half a ground onion or about 80 grams cut into wedges. So just pop that in there. Got a little bit under with my half, but that's perfectly fine. And then 200 grams of bacon cut into pieces. So I've got that ready to go as well. And just chucking them straight in there. Next, 20 grams of olive oil. A little bit over. Next again, and now we're going to pop the lid on with our splash guard. So the splash guard we saw before on that screen of what comes with it, it's just a safety feature of our TM6. Locks in with our locking arm so you can't peer in through the hole and get splashed in the face by hot oil. So this is just a reminder to put that on. So then we're in guided cooking, so it's got it all set for us. So 7 minutes maximum, and this is our high heat symbol. So let that person in. So our high heat mode is 40 degrees hotter than the previous TN5. So that this one goes to about 160 degrees. And you'll hear in our high heat mode, it kind of acts a bit like your frying pan would. So in a minute as we get going, you'll hear, but it heats up. The blades stop turning, it heats, it browns whatever's in there. So in this instance, our bacon and our onion. And then occasionally, so you'll hear it sizzle. So tell me if you can hear it sizzle now. Can you hear that sizzle through this Zoom? I'm not sure. So you hear it sizzle, it's really browning, and then occasionally it'll stir. The blades will turn around and it'll give it a stir. So it's really mimicking exactly what you would do in the frying pan, except you're standing here hands-free instead. Can anyone hear the sizzle or not? Little things like this, the hands-free part of it is, for me, one of the, kind of most, I don't know, the best things about it really. Just hear the sizzle. I'm going to bring it over and see if you can hear it a bit better. And then in a second, you'll hear the blades turn to stir. And then that was a stir. So yeah, really just mimicking what we would do in the frying pan. Heat it up, brown, and occasional stir. So while that's doing its thing, I just want to show you, this is hopefully I can teach a few of you TM5 owners a couple of little things here. Sing out if you've got any questions as we're going, but we're going to just run through a couple of the screen features quickly. So one of our relatively new features is our preview button. So obviously that's pretty self-explanatory, but while you're in cooking time, you can next on through and see what you've got to do next. So if you want to prep your next ingredients, you can do that. We're going to transfer it to a bowl afterwards, obviously. Get out your flour, baking powder, and those kind of things. You can do that. And then you just go back to the symbols up the top and it'll take you back to where you were. You can also go to these 3 little dots beside our preview button. We've got a couple of options here. Open preview obviously is there as well, and it's exactly the same. We can go to recipe detail, and that takes us back to our full recipe where we can scroll down, check anything. We can, recheck those variations or whatever we'd like. And then we can either hit the high heat symbol there or press continue as well, and it'll take us back. There's scales in here as well. It actually won't let you use the scales while you're doing high heat, but anything else other than high heat and dough, if you're just, cooking something else, just like my beef stroganoff tonight, while it's cooking, I can open the scales and then pop a bowl on the top and measure something out if I want. So you can access your scales while you're cooking as well, and then cancel recipe if for some reason perhaps you only wanted to cook a section of the recipe or whatever, you can cancel it there as well. While things are cooking as well, we can go back to our home screen. So at any point, so obviously these are our time, temperature and speed, so it's just showing us what it's cooking. But this is essentially that first welcome screen that we would see as well. So at any point we want to go back to our recipe, we just hit the little recipe book icon there. You can see the steam coming out the top as well now. So from here we can scroll across if we wanted to and check out our modes. So these are all our different modes of our TM6. And like I said before, while you're using guided cooking, these modes will be selected for you. But these are here for if you want to make anything else, if you want to use recipe just off the internet, you want to convert your own recipes and you want to use one of these modes, you'll find them just to the right of the screen, and these are being added to as well all the time. So I think since I first started with Thermomix, with being a consultant, we've had what have we had? Peelers new, the egg boiler modes new. What else? Sorry, I'll just let this into. And the kettle mode was new, and warm up, they're the other new ones. And then they make adjustments to them as well. So anything, when you've got your TM6, if you've got an active Cookadoo connection, any updates will come through, kind of like a bit like your mobile phone would. And new modes will appear here. I just went back across to the other side. So again, back to our home screen, and we swipe to the left, then we can bring up Cookadoo. So this is that virtual recipe platform, and you can search here while you're cooking if you wanted to. So if you want to make something after this, you can use Cookadoo now to then plug it into your meal planner for the week. So if I was to say I wanted to make maybe a risotto, I can just type in risotto, search. See, all this is available and we're still cooking at the same time. So just for example, let's go. So many different risottos in here, isn't there? Risotto with bacon, pumpkin risotto with bacon. So I can either press my 3 little dots to the right of that and press cook today. I can bookmark it or add it to my shopping list. But if I press cook today, then it'll come up in my meal plan to make next as well. So yeah, so all these are available while you are cooking. I'm going to go back to our home screen again, just by pressing that home symbol. It hasn't come out yet, Gail. No, we're still waiting to hear more about. So there's meant to be, those of you who aren't aware yet, there's meant to be a new update coming where we can change the quantities of our Cookadoo recipe, perhaps double them if that's something that the actual bowl is capable of, obviously, or even halve them as well for people that are cooking for 1 or 2. So we're waiting to hear a bit more about when that's going to be introduced, but hopefully soon. It'll be a really great update to Cookadoo, I think. And then we can go into our left-hand screen. We can go into my recipes, which all of this is the same as what it would be on the app on your phone or your computer as well. So you've got your bookmark recipes, your created recipes, your collections, which you can make yourself as well. Oops, sorry, too far. And then you've got my week, which we saw before, recently cooked, and your settings are all available there as well. So yeah, you can go through those while you're cooking if you want, or obviously at any stage as well. So that is our high heat bit done then. So we're just going to hit next. It's just telling us to scrape down the sides of the bowl with the spatula. Scrape down first and then I'll see if the steam's stopped enough to show you. So those of you who have a TM5, I think that the little things you'd notice with the TM6, the differences I've certainly noticed is that 40 degrees, if I would make this in my TM5, it would kind of almost just sit in the liquid a little bit. Excuse me. Whereas now it kind of really browns a bit better. Excuse me. Yeah, I found that it didn't kind of get hot enough to really cook it properly. So just going to hit next again. Now it's just telling us to pop our lid on with our measuring cup now instead of our splash guard. Next again, and we're going to give it a quick chop. So 2 seconds before. Next again, then we're going to pop it in a bowl to the side. Excuse me for a second, guys. Sorry, I just had a tickle in my throat. So we're just going to transfer that to a bowl. So that's just that chop again. So it's just giving it that extra little chop. So I'm just going to pop that in a little bowl. Right, and then we're going to keep cooking. So we're just going to take those scales and pop in 450 grams of plain flour. Next, again, 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Next again, half a teaspoon of salt. Next, 120 grams of unsalted butter, chopped and cold. One 140 grams of cheese, just roughly chopped as well for that one. And chives I don't have, so we're just going to leave that out for tonight. And then next, and then we've got 4 seconds on speed 8. Zoom will just mute me out for this one. Sorry, so I'll just do that one and I'll be back in 4 seconds. And next again, I'll show you that one's done. So that's kind of like rubbed all those ingredients down. You know, if you were making scones kind of old school out by hand, you would rub the butter into the flour. So that's just done that in 4 seconds for us and added in the cheese as well. So it's kind of that crummy, breadcrumby kind of consistency now. And then so there we're going to put 250 grams of milk. So again, just tearing those scales and weighing it straight in there. Next, and then we're going to put the bacon mixture back in as well. So next again, and then we're going to pop the lid back on. And then we've got 30 seconds, and this little wheat symbol is our kneading mode. So again, we're in guided cooking, so it selects our mode for us. So this is just kneading that for us for 30 seconds. Any questions or anything so far, guys? Pop them in the chat box if you do. My baby has decided to not settle, so my husband's down there now. I don't know if you can hear her crying in the background. Always the way. And I'm just going to grab out my bread mat ready. Next. There is our scone mixture done. So if we continue on the screen, it just tells us to transfer that onto our silicone bread mat or lightly floured work surface. So I'm just going to turn you around a little bit. So we're just going to back and forth on the bottom of our blades a couple of times. We'll release that dough for us. You can also do a quick turbo on the bottom. If you did a 1 or 2 second turbo on your Thermomix again, it'll flick off the rest of the dough, but it's quite like it's a sticky scone dough, so I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to leave that. Next, and then we might come back to shaping it while our soup's cooking in a minute. So I'm just going to leave that for the time being. I'm just going to wrap it up, and then we'll finish our scones while we've got our soup cooking. So if I go back here. So I'm just going to go to cancel recipe like I was showing you before, those 3 little dots, and then cancel recipe. And just confirm, we'll say yes, and I'll just grab my other bowl.
Can you shut that turn the kettle on, please?
All right, so now we're going to go back into my wheat, those 3 little dots. And now we're going to do our hug in a mug chicken soup. Has anyone made this one before? Really quick and easy and delicious soup. So scroll down if you wanted to, otherwise we're just going to hit start cooking. So into there we're going to pop a couple of sprigs of fresh parsley. Now I'm not very, can't really see this, so come back a little bit. I'm not very particular with our parsley, I'll just throw some in. Next, a carrot, so just cut up into pieces. So just roughly chop your veggies for this one. Oh, there's a bit gone. A celery stalk, again, just roughly chopped. You don't have to be particular adults, can do all the work for you. I leave out mushrooms because I like mushrooms, but no one else in my family does. So I just leave them out of this one. And 150 grams of brown onions cut into quarters. Next, then we're going to put the lid back on. Next again, and now we've got 5 second chop on speed 6. So have a quick look at the chat box. A couple of you have made it. Yeah, Alice, you could always leave the mushrooms out like I do as well, so don't hesitate to. So that's our veggies in that, what was that, 5 seconds? Oh, sorry, lighting's not our friend. All chopped up there. So if you wanted to, you could do it a bit more. I still like a little bit of chunk left in the veggies in this soup, so I just leave it like that. Next, scrape down our sides with our spatula. So you're just scraping down, you're just pushing all those ingredients back down towards the bottom and the base. That's it. Next, 50 grams of butter. Tear those scales. Almost make sure you've got your scales turned. Next, I'm popping the lid back on again. Next again, 5 minutes, 120 degrees in speed 2. So 120 degrees is usually about your saute temperature. So this is kind of sauteing those veggies, again, like you would if you were doing them on the stove. Sorry, the camera works not very great tonight, is it? Like you would except if you're doing them on the stove, except now they're hands-free. So, you know, you've got that 5 minutes to do whatever else you want, whether it's, cleaning up, doing something with your kids, anything at all, that time is yours. So, who's seen our glider board? I've got my Thermomix on our brand new glider board. I don't know if any of you have got one on. Who's got one? Anybody yet? It's on. So these are our host rewards at the moment, a limited time host reward. So if you've brought a couple of friends along tonight, you can grab one of these for $50 if you've got 2 or more friends watching, or free if a friend happens to buy TM6 in the next 2 weeks. So that's only available as a host reward till the end of the month. So I think that's about Thursday. So if you want one, please let me know as soon as possible and I can help you with that. But it just kind of helps you to move your Thermomix around without damaging your scales, which are your feet. So you just tilt it up and then you can move it any which way you want, which is really cool. One-handed too. So if you want to get your hands on one of those as a host reward, let me know as soon as possible and I can help you out with that. We've got another virtual happening tomorrow night at Cookadoo, saving money with Cookadoo. Our team's running tomorrow night. So if you want to invite a couple of friends to that, you can grab your glider board then. Any other questions so far, guys? Pop it in the chat box. I start doing our scones and then we'll finish them in the next bit of cooking time, hey? So what I might do, see if I can, if I go back out into my week, I'm going to bring up the scone so that we can just finish reading through these instructions while we're cooking. So if you go transfer the bread to a bread mat, gently shape into a ball, then flatten with your hands into a disc about 1.5 centimetres thick, and using a scone or biscuit cutter, cut into rounds and place those together in baking paper tray. So we're just going to form it into our So I think this recipe says it makes about 10, but obviously that's using the size they want. So like anything, it's a guide. If you want them smaller or bigger or thicker or thinner, whatever, just do what you want. So I'm just going to use, I think, my small one. So I've got it kind of probably around 1.5, maybe a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to push down. Remember it said don't twist. So we push down and then we can use our spatula. Remember, we're never cutting on our, or using a knife on our bread mat. I'm lifting that up and I'm going to pop it straight onto one of my rose gold tins with the liners that I've got here as well. So they're really great to help get rid of extra baking paper, save yourself money there, and obviously help the environment a little bit as well. So these are looking delicious. They'll be perfect to have with the soup. We'll be having it for tea tomorrow night. What do you guys normally have for soup? Do you make a garlic bread or like a savoury scone like this? Something different maybe? And what soup? Well, let's inspire each other. What soup's everyone's favourite? What soup are you making with the Thermomix? I know there's a really beautiful cauliflower one. Pumpkin soup's probably my favourite. Has anyone else got any great ideas? Chicken and corn. Wow. Or veggie, yeah. Oh, potato and leek. Oh, I haven't had potato and leek soup for ages. It's definitely soup weather, isn't it? I haven't checked the registrations yet today. Is everybody on in Victoria? I don't know. Or somebody else got some nicer weather somewhere else? All right, that's a bit charming. So let's leave that for a second. We'll come back over here. Next, and then today we're going to pop our 500 grams of chicken breast. So I'm just going to grab that out of the fridge quickly. All right, so tearing those scales again. If I actually pressed it, wouldn't it? Must have something on my screen. Hang on, let me just grab a cloth. So obviously your screen is, because it's a touch screen, it's very sensitive. So if ever you find it not working properly, just give it a good wipe down. And that will definitely help it. There we go. So 500 grams of chicken breast. So I'm a bit over because I just thought I'd use what chicken I had. I didn't want to, like, you know, pop half a chicken breast back in the fridge or freezer. So I just threw it all in. So 50 grams of plain flour. A bit of black pepper. I'm not going to measure that. Just give it a little. Pop the lid on again. Just going to scroll back a second, sorry, to make sure I didn't. Oh no, it's all up 2 minutes now. And then we've got 1 minute, speed 2. Grab some milk for it. Loving all the different soup ideas, guys. Keep them coming. Everyone will get lots of good inspiration from the chat box. So I'm just going to leave the rest of that dough there. So like I said, the recipe said that this scone dough would make 10. I've got, what have I got? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 so far, and still heaps of dough left over. So obviously the recipe makes quite large scones, but I only want them small. So that's fine. And I'll just watch the cooking time instead. So now if I again, actually, I'll just finish that in a second. I'll do this bit first. Next. And then 800 grams of water. So taking our lid off. Tearing those scales again. Popping in our 800 grams. So with all soups, this will be fine because it's a cookity recipe and it's triple tested. All cookity recipes are triple tested. You just obviously want to make sure you're not going on over your maximum line on your TM6. So I'm just going to lift you up for a second so I can show you. So the maximum line is here. So your maximum capacity of your TM6 is 2.2 litres. So just make sure, you know, when you're doing soups and stuff, perhaps that aren't cookity and aren't triple tested, that you're not going over that. That line. And then 1 tablespoon of chicken stock paste. I don't have chicken stock paste, so I'm just going to use it powder. I could use veggie stock, but I think that the chicken stock would be nicer instead. So I'm just going to use a teaspoon of that instead. And then next again, and now we've got our cooking time. So this is just 15 minutes and turning the speed selector around to 1. All right, so if I'll just finish these ones over here. Oh, So if I go back, actually, sorry, I'm going back and forth on you guys. If I go back to my home screen again and back into my week, you can open up that scone recipe once more just to check again the last few steps. So we've got it shaped, cut into rounds, place together on a baking tray, and then brush the surface with extra milk, then bake for 15 to 20 minutes until golden, and serve with extra butter. So I'm just going to brush the tops of those with a bit of milk, and I'll make the rest a bit later. But yeah, they must have had quite big scones to only be making 10 out of it, because it's certainly a lot of dough. Does everyone like a savoury scone? I think it's a little bit different, isn't it? All right, so I'm going to pop these in the oven, and then we'll come back. And so because they're smaller, like I said, I'm going to watch them. So I'm just going to put them in for 10 to start with, and then we'll see what they're doing. All right, and I think while that's cooking, I might actually be a bit cheeky and come over to my second Thermomix to do our custard. So I'm going to bring you over there. Bear with me for 2 seconds. And that way we're not keeping everyone up all night. So, all right, so this recipe is actually from the recipe community. So the TM6 gives you the ability to import recipes from the recipe community, which is, again, one of my, got a lot of favourite features about it, don't I? But one of my favourite features about the TM6. So this recipe is from the recipe community, and I have imported it over to my cookie. So if I go into my week again, so your imported recipes, you can either access them from your recipes and then created recipes. I'll show you just quickly. My internet wants to catch up. So these are all recipes that I have imported. Most of them are from the recipe community, but otherwise you can add them to your meal plan as well. So I've added it to my week, and we're cooking the sugar-free banana custard. Has anyone made this one before, or a different custard, just something different from the usual? I'm going to hit start cooking. So it does come up slightly different to what it would if it was an actual cookery recipe, and you'll see. So just the instructions are just that little bit more simple, I suppose, but it's just telling us exactly what to do all the same. So set your jug to weigh. So that just means bring up our scales, put in 2 bananas, broken into pieces, and then top the bowl up with your milk of choice to get to 500 grams. So I'll bring up our scales and pop my bananas in. So I'm just breaking them up. Yeah, your Milo custard is on my list to make this week as well, Victoria. Looks delicious, and I know the kids will love it. I have a good feeling they'll like this one too. So now we're just going to make it up to 500 grams. So just adding, I'm just using just normal cow's milk, but like the recipe said, you could use a milk alternative. I think the notes on this recipe said that the person that made the recipe used oat milk from memory. You just use the cross to get out of the scales. And then it says blend for 15 seconds on speed at 9. So we can either hit, see how it's underlined in blue, we can either select that bit or select the blade as well, and it brings it up for us. So 15 seconds, and then turn the speed selector to 9. Might need to pop the lid on first. So obviously a safety feature is that it's going to tell me when there's no lid on. So I'll pop that one on and turn the speed selector to 9. Cross again to go back to our instructions until there's no lumps. So we'll just check to make sure we've got no lumps in there now. That looks great to me. Looks like a nice milky consistency. And then we're just going to hit across again, and into there now we're going to add 30 grams of corn flour and 2 eggs. So again, if I bring up the scales, I'll have my ingredients on the side there for this step. So adding in our 30 grams of corn flour. So this is a sugar-free custard as well, no added sugar. So you're just using that sweetness of those ripe bananas instead of adding extra sugar, which is great as well. So perfect for kids. And 2 eggs straight in there. And again, just the same, the crust to hop out of there. Now this is, because it's come from the rest of the community, it's got instructions on how to cook. If you had a TM5, you can use these instructions for 7 minutes, 90 degrees C4. But because we've got the thicken mode on our TM6, which is made for recipes like this, I'm going to go to the blades, and then up the top you'll see the mode side of things as well. So if we hit that, then we can bring up our thicken mode. So our thicken mode is kind of, again, because we've got a smart appliance, it's going to work everything out for you. So it'll work out, dependent on your ingredients, how long to cook for to make it the perfect consistency. So I actually might get out of this for a second because I want to show you something else. Sorry. If I go over to the thicken mode on this screen, if I go into the information symbol here, it tells us just a little bit more. So, obviously depending on what you're thickening, different temperatures might apply. So I'm not sure if you can read that on here, but it's just saying used to make savoury sauces or sweet sauces. Temperature guide, 80 degrees when using egg as a thickening agent, or 100 degrees when using flour or corn flour. So that's the only thing you need to alter for this. So because we've added corn flour, we're just going to hit the 80 and turn it up to 100 instead. So that information there is there in all the different modes, and just gives you a helpful little tip to make sure that it's successful. So then we just hit our thickening icon and just turn the speed selector once to start that. And then you'll see as it thickens and as it, does its thing, the time will alter. So it might not, it comes up with 12 minutes, but it'll work out first how much is in there, and yeah, the consistency to determine exactly how long to cook for. All right, I'm just going to bring you back over. All right, any questions or anything so far, guys? Put in the chat box if you do. We're nearly finished. I might just run through a couple more pages on our little screen while everything's finishing cooking. So that's all our hands-on time with our meals. How great is that? And so now if you're cooking at home, obviously, again, you could be doing anything, just got hands-free time to do as you wish. So Cookadoo, which is our virtual recipe platform that we've talked a bit about tonight. And so it is a subscription service. So it's $69 a year, works out to be about $1.33 a week. You get all the access to the recipes, all the cookbooks that are on, Thermomix cookbooks that are on Cookadoo as well. And then you get any updates or new modes as well as part of that subscription. So $69 a year, but you can sign up to do a free trial at any stage as well. 30-day free trial, just say cookadoo.com.au, and then you can have a little play with it, see if there are recipes that suit you and your family, that kind of thing. And then you do get 6 months free subscription with your TM6 as well. So if anybody is interested, like I said before, I picked the menu tonight, but if there is something you'd like to see in particular, please let me know. I'm more than happy to do a virtual or, yeah, if you like an in-home cooking experience for you. That way, you can pick your own menus, cater it to your likes, your dislikes, your allergies, all of those kind of things, and you can grab some post rewards as well. In saying that, you can grab post rewards from our open virtuals too, which is really cool. So you can select them all, and yeah, just have a little think about who in your network might be interested in seeing the TM6. Obviously, it's completely obligation free, but you might be able to change someone's life with a Thermomix. With your Thermomix, you do get me as your consultant with it. So I'm here to help you with whatever that means for you. So if you need extra help, I'm more than happy to do that. If you want to kind of find your own feet, I can just be there on the phone just when you need it. But I am here to help you get the most out of your Thermomix. I am really passionate about you guys loving your Thermomix as much as I do love mine too. So yeah, whatever that means for you, I'm here to help you with. We do have our team run lots of virtual cooking classes and workshops as well. Like I said before, we've got a Saving Money with Cook-a-Do virtual running tomorrow night on Zoom. But yeah, they're all there to help you get the most out of it as well. So thinking back to the things we were talking about at the start, the things that are important to you guys with the food you cook and eat, your food frustrations, your mealtime challenges, thinking back to all those things, those of you who have a TM6, do you think that it's helped you guys, with those challenges and maybe achieving these things that are important to you? I know there's a couple of you that are relatively new TM6 owners on here as well. So what are you finding so far? Is it helping you save time, save money, cook more healthy foods? Come in the chat box and let me know. And if you don't have a Thermomix, do you think what you've seen tonight, do you think that maybe it could do those things for you? I'm just going to check our scones quickly, guys. Just a few more minutes on there, and they're definitely taking longer than that, less than that 15 to 20 minutes, so they're smaller. So like we were saying before, there are a few different ways to get a TM6 in your kitchen. You can earn a TM6 like I did, join our team. We've got a pretty awesome team. And get a TM6 for free. If you already have one and you want to join our team because, we look like they're so much fun and you love sharing your love of the Thermomix, please let me know. It really is a great way to kind of get the most out of your Thermomix as well, because it pushes you to try new things, learn new things, and we're always helping each other too, which is really great. At the moment, we're running 36 months interest-free. So that brings the cost of Thermomix down to $16.97 a week. So that includes the fees associated. So there's just only a $7.95 monthly account keeping fee, but that's built into that $17 a week. So just under $17 a week to get a TM6 in your kitchen. We do have an easy 3 option as well, which is a bit like a take-home labour and a one-off payment as well. So if you want any more information on any of those things, please just reach out. I'm more than happy to help you. The average family can save around $40 to $60 off their weekly grocery bill. Obviously, that depends on what your family eat and kind of do, I suppose, as well. But things like yogurt, snacks for kids, saving on takeaways are huge ones. Like this soup tonight is half an hour, less than half an hour start to finish. So something like that on a night where you're pushed for time that you might otherwise think or head to takeaway is, a really great option and a great way to save money. And then we've got our mix shop. There's really lots of great accessories in the mix shop, things to go with the Thermomix and things just general kitchen accessories as well. So check out the mix shop if you haven't already. But it's addictive, so just be careful with that. Don't say I didn't warn you. There's so many great products that you will get addicted to it very easily. But that's about it from all of that. We've just got a minute left on our cooking time for our soup, and then we can dish everything up. Any questions so far, guys? Pop in the chat box, please, or just come off mute even if you want. I'm just going to grab another plate. I wish you guys could smell, because these scones look and smell delicious. Trying to work out what camera I had, and I'm looking at myself. So they're all done. I'm going to pop a couple on our plate. They smell so good. I'm just going to pop the rest out of the way. And then our soup is just finished too. So again, if we next through, it just tells us to divide and serve. So I'm going to just pop you up on the other camera and then lift it up so that I don't spill soup all over the bench. I did a live the other week in a group and spilt chocolate cake all over my bench because I wasn't concentrating and my kids were beating my bags instead. So I'm not going to make that mistake again. That is our soup. You can see our nice chunks of chicken and veggies in there. What we're steaming up, sorry. It's still a nice kind of chunky chicken and veggie soup, really. Scones. So it makes quite a big bit of soup as well. There's our soup. And our custard is about a minute away from finishing as well. So I'll break up the scones and show you. Lovely and soft they are. And the cheese, I don't know if you can, oh sorry, I'm not holding that very well. You might not be able to see, there's a bit of melted cheese running through it as well. So they're perfect to go with soup. Something yummy to dip in there. And just checking that custard. Just about finished. Any questions so far? Oh, there we go. All right, I'll bring that around. I'm trying not to steam up the camera again. I'm going to anyway. That's a nice, thick, delicious custard there. So I'm actually going to pop this in, I'm going to eat some now, obviously. But pop it in the kids' little pouches. I've got some reusable pouches as well. So pop them in there for the kids to enjoy cold tomorrow. But that's it, guys. There is our cheese and bacon scones, our hug in a mug soup and banana custard. All from scratch in about an hour or so. Any questions at all, please pop them in the chat box. Our custard. Thanks so much for coming on. I hope you guys learned something new or enjoyed cooking, at least maybe inspired to try something new. Pop it on your meal planner for this week or next if you've already planned out. And let me know how you go. If you make any of this, please let me know if you like it or what you thought. Thanks so much for jumping on. Any questions, let me know. I'll give you guys a message or a call in the next couple of days to just follow up and see what you thought. And if you've got any questions, you need banana custard now. Whip it up. It only takes a few minutes. No worries. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for jumping on. Like I said, just sing out at any stage if you've got any questions. Yes, of course, Rasha. I'll give you a hand. I'll send you a message. No worries. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks. Have a good night.